My name is Connor Book, and I'm here with the Research and Development Group for Louisville Forward. And today, what we'd like to go over is problems that we see in the food and beverage industry and how it can have an impact on our local economy, jobs, and products. So, one of the first problems that we run into within our local economy is product innovation cycles are too slow. With beverage companies going out and ranging from the bourbons all the way to small grocery stores and butchers and things like that. People aren't adapting to the customers' needs. So, one of the things that we see is jumping on trends and taking advantage of them. So, Beyond Meat is the burger shown in the graphic here, and what we have here is basically burgers and other kinds of meats like sausage, chicken, and pork, and they're made from plants. So that opens up the door for vegans and people that don't eat meat to come into your restaurant or your grocery store because you're a supplier of a product like this that you can't get in a lot of traditional places. And also, one of the things that we see is Truly. So we're big on alcohol in Kentucky, as in we have breweries, distilleries, things like that. Brown Forman, the only place you can have bourbon in the world. But the one thing the bourbon industry isn't doing is innovating. We see it in smaller companies like Jack Daniels is another big liquor company, but they innovate because they're a lot smaller than Brown Forman and their family of drinks is a lot smaller. So one of the things that we think we should do is have our beverage companies, including the soda companies, work with other local companies that can bring them the resources that they need to thrive. Which for the beverage sector, we recommend Flavor Man, which is a local company who also works on all kinds of drinks that you see in the store. But one of the notable ones is they worked on Jack Daniels brand of Jack and Cola in the cans, and it ended up being wildly successful. And there was another one they did that was Boombox, which is like a party drink that's basically a wine. And those were two that were developed in Louisville, Kentucky by David Defoe of Flavor Man. And that caused those brands to eventually expand. And it's something that lives on to this day. So the next problem that we run into is diets are basically changing. So there's all kinds of different diets. There's a normal diet, which is kind of considered like an omnivore in a sense, where you're eating fruits and vegetables. And there's people that are only eating plant-based things, and people only eating vegetables, or people only eating fish and knocking out certain kinds of meats. And this sort of ties in with the first problem on that our companies need to adapt. So the problems for us are basically people come in and they're not going out and spending their night out because a restaurant or a bar or certain types of drinks or whatever, they don't meet their standards. And what we need to do is adapt to current diet trends to go out so the companies can survive and prosper. And one of the other problems that I personally think is a big deal would be we run into sourcing issues. So basically, in this chart, you can see that the world's largest market for organic products is in the United States, and that's by a landslide. So and that pulls in $26.7 billion of revenue on top of the other hundreds of millions that traditional farms pull in. So one of the things that we need to see and will entice people to come and maybe try a new drink or try a new menu item would say working with organic products and locally sourced products. And we can talk to local farmers and local businesses and basically kind of give them an incentive plan. If we can get the government involved to give tax incentives based off if people are buying local or not local, then it'll help stimulate our economy. It'll help put money in the farmers' pockets and help put more fresh food on people's plates. And that's just one of the things that we need to adapt to as a city. And the last thing, and one of the main points that was hit on very well is the scaling and the brand awareness that essentially comes with our city. So our current perception is like the cool, funky little city. We're a big city, but everyone knows we're not too big, and we're directly competing with cities like Cincinnati, Nashville, and Indianapolis, which are way bigger cities and have way more opportunities. But we also have the advantage to where we have people like Rolling Stone who come in and said we were one of the best food cities in the United States. It was the second or third. And other people like Rolling Stone who said we have essentially the coolest music festival in the country. And so that gives a cool name to Louisville that not a lot of other cities get to have. So our perception right now is a good one. It's just not a big one. So what we need to do is expand our awareness, whether that be on social media or going out and just having new events, but basically escalating everything that we do in the city and recording our jobs and activities. It can bring more people in, which can stimulate more job growth, more products, and more innovation, because that's what we really need as a city. And so moving forward is basically we're behind the curve and we have the potential to be up there very quick. So with innovation, expansion, a little bit of marketing, and allowing people to be creative and keep the community local is what's going to keep the city thriving. So let's work together to solve these problems.